everybody, and welcome back to Bomber Banter, and welcome to Fiona's Forecast, forecasting our clash against the Tigers again for round 18. Feels very strange coming up against the Tigers again when we have not versed GWS or Sydney yet, but alas, that is the AFL fixture for you. Okay, let's get into it. Hello, Solution, how are you?
I'm well, Fiona. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. What's your injury status? Are you still, how's your neck?
Oh, much better, thank you. And I do need to apologise to the viewers. I watched back the forecast last week and I was jiggling around because I just couldn't get comfortable. And I was jiggling and shaking and wriggling more than a lonely housewife sitting on a washing machine. So, yeah, it wasn't a good look, so apologies. I'm going to try and be in the zone this week and still. But yeah, I mean, I'm better. Not our club isn't. Caldwell. Is that a sound effect?
I don't know what's going on, but maybe this one will be better.
I like them both. You have really, a new toy, basically.
I didn't feel like I had a sufficient enough vocal or voice to be able to voice myself sufficiently enough hearing about Caldwell. So those sound effects basically sum it up for me. I mean, I don't see a point. What is the point of sending Caldwell off for surgery? Just put an end to his year. Like, just don't rush him. Give him some rest time. Send him for surgery if it's required, and get him cherry right for the preseason.
Well, the same with everybody, right? So everybody who's injured, we know the goal. I mean, we're going to talk about the Richmond game. They're probably one team with as many injuries as us, possibly, or at least in terms of their better players. So, hey, we'll probably win this game. But after that, we don't really want to win another game. It's all about the draft. It's all about bloody young players. And, let's, I saw Nick Cox is out for the season as well, I think.
I'm not sure how. Reported yesterday that his season has officially ended, but I think we all knew that. But he has been officially given the green light to continue his career, basically. He faced the AFL concussion panel that they put together. He's been given the green light to move forward. I did like some of the quotes in the article from him, basically saying that he feels as motivated as ever to get back. So, I mean, I didn't know he had that resilience in him. There was always reports around his attitude and his ability to bounce back and his resilience. There's not a better word for it than that in comparison up against Zach Reed's resilience, after what he's been through to get back and to continue to face these setbacks. Another one for him. His season has also officially ended. He's going in for surgery on the hamstring. But yeah, I did enjoy hearing from Nick Cox that he felt as motivated as ever. I just really enjoyed that, given some of the updates on his attitude and ability to be resilient that I've heard from people.
Yeah, and we're very quick to judge very, very young men. And it wouldn't surprise me that, between the ages of 20, 21 and 23, 24, they mature. So he probably realises, and you can imagine that these highly touted juniors go through their junior career as the superstar of the team. They're in all the squads. They've been spoken about it. They don't necessarily have many sort of setbacks early days. And now suddenly he can see, oh, well, I might not have a career. He's probably another concussion away potentially from not having a career. So it's good to hear that on a number of fronts. And most importantly, it's good to hear that because I think they're independent medical.
They are.
It's an independent medical assessment, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's fantastic to hear.
That's such a good point by you in terms of he probably actually needed this for his evolution, sitting on the sidelines and seeing the likes of Archie Perkins and Zach Reid getting on the park. Archie Perkins is about to hit 100 games and he can't even play one game in a season. So it's probably done him very good in terms of building that resilient muscle that he probably lacked. And, watching the world go past him and, as you say, realising that, mate, I might not have a career here. I need to do everything in my power, a la what Zach Merritt would do, a la what Christian Pachaka did after almost dying, like to get back to your absolute peak, a la 2 Metre Peter. I reckon this could be a blessing in disguise for him in terms of his career. And it gives me, I had all but lost hope for his career, but mainly not because of his physical attributes, but because of that mentality that I've heard he has. But this has given me a new lease on life for him. So I'm really excited to see him fit and firing and ready to go for, start of November for pre-season or whenever the guys start. But, so I did love that. Very disappointing for Zach Reid. I mean, to me, sending him off for surgery on his hamstring is just like, this is our last attempt because I think the club feel like they've tried everything. Like when you fly to Qatar, to a specialist, to an accredited, specialist, conditioning specialist in the field, I don't know. I think part of you thinks that's almost like the last attempt. But this feels like almost a Hail Mary.
Well, long-term Windsock listeners will know I'm a big Arsenal fan, and their best player is a guy called Bukayo Saka, who had hamstring surgery last year, and it was successful. And another player, Kai Havertz, had the same thing. It's fairly common in the Premier League, and in a sport where you're only using your legs, they're pretty good at fixing those legs. Hamstrings are very common, so that might give you some hope.
Okay. I can't actually remember if he's had surgery on them before. I think he may have.
Hamstring surgery? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Don't quote me on it. Maybe he
hasn't. Gives me less hope. That gives me less hope.
I don't know if he has. He may not have. I should have probably checked that before we came on. But anyway, I was too depressed.
Can we just, I know we're not sort of following the usual formula, but the talk, so I saw a media report yesterday, I think it was on 360, where they were talking about the hangar is being resurfaced. And
again.
No stone has been left unturned. Well, apparently they only resurfaced one training ground. This is really Xavier Campbell's final gift to Essendon, isn't it? Like that.
It's true.
It really, really is.
We thought it was Dylan Shield, didn't we?
Well, yeah, that's right. No, there's one more twist in the tail of that scorpion. Yeah, all I can say is, I'm just repeating what everyone else is saying, but this cannot go on, and hopefully, they just leave no stone unturned.
So, does that mean that you think it is the hangar? It is the surface?
I saw a tweet from a former VFLW player.
I was just about to bring that up.
Yeah, who said that every time her and her teammates trained on the indoor surface, they had tightness in quads. I think they said they experienced a sort of a spate of quad injuries. So, yeah, whatever.
So the player is Eloise, and apologies, I don't know her surname, but she's a former Essendon VFLW player, and she mentioned that after training heavily, so mainly running on the indoor surface, her legs and her lower body would feel really heavy, and should always have to follow up and made mention to the physio and follow up. Reading that her say that about the indoor courts throughout this whole discussion about their surface, nobody has once mentioned the indoor. So I thought that was an intriguing little element to the conversation.
And then once we fix the indoor bit, what's going to be the next?
Yeah, that's right. That's what I think
it'll be the showers.
Yeah.
It'll be the toilets. But I don't know what it is. But I think everyone would agree you cannot be just the world's unluckiest football team. Something is rotten.
That's right. Something is going wrong. And to say it's compromising Brad Scott's ability to move this club forward and to move the group forward would be an understatement for me, because it's essentially sabotaging his ability to get another year of chemistry and synergy into these players. It's also sabotaging Matt Rosa. He doesn't know what he's got. He doesn't know of course he knows, but wouldn't a year of seeing these players play in these positions and trialing different players in different positions, or, having a full crayon box available to you, help you determine what you need more so at the end of the season and what deficiencies really lie in the group? Because how do we know if Langford's going to be that 28-year-old player that we can rely on, that 28-year-old leader in the forward line with Caddy and May moving forward? We don't know.
That's right.
So
That's right.
I just think it sabotaged Brad Scott and Matt Rosa this year, and it's compromising us at the moment. And whilst it's giving opportunity to younger players, brilliant. But we don't know these younger players aren't getting the opportunities regardless. So,
well, I think this year it is actually a blessing in disguise. If it's a one-off, if it is a one-off, but if it continues, then it's not a blessing, it's a fucking curse. So we need to fix it. A bit like this StreamYard issue. So I might drop off again. So should we just get straight to the changes?
Well, before we do, I just want to also send out a big congratulations to Isaac Kako, who becomes our 4th Rising Star for this year. 4th, I believe. Yeah. I think that's 4th, yep. So congratulations, long time coming. And I see lots of Geelong fans. I mean, firstly, you have nothing. Stop whinging, because you have nothing to whinge about. But secondly,
what are they whinging about?
Their first gamer had a better game than Kako and deserved the Rising Star nom. A, stop whinging. B, the Rising Star nom is generally a body of work. And
That's
Kako
right.
has had an incredible season. And C, he had a better game. He was the highest rated player out of the 3 in contention. So he had a better rated game than George. So get off your high horse. And I just loved, I'm going to read the comments. He did an article, he did an interview with Chris Kavanagh. And I just want to read to you some of these comments, which I just freaking loved. You will froth hearing these words from his mouth. Listen to this, right?
Point of conjecture. Sorry, we're calling him Cax. Is that your nickname, or is this?
That's just my nickname. I haven't heard anyone call him that, but that's just me.
Okay.
Affectionately call him that.
Sure.
Okay, ready? So impressive, but I've learned a lot and improved myself as a player and a person and a teammate. There's vision every week after games, and I like seeing the stuff I can improve on so I can come into the next week and be better in that aspect and just chip away at the little things I need to get better at. The position I play can be very up and down, but I just want to minimise that gap and be the most consistent player in my position I can be. I want to get my pressure to an elite level where there's no question about whether I'm going to lay a tackle or not.
Love it.
How good is that, hearing those words from him? How mature is that?
And do you know how you know it's not just words? Because usually at this time of the season, this is when the rookies who've been playing each week, usually in poor teams like Essendon, where an early draft pick just gets picked every single week, this is the time of the season where they normally start to drop off a little bit. but he seems to be getting better.
Yeah.
So what does that say?
And he's played every game. Like, let's not forget that he's a draftee, first year draftee. Yep. So
19
anyway, we can
years
do.
Of age.
Yeah, I just wanted to say huge congratulations, long time coming, and Geelong fans. Shh.
Yeah, agreed. All right, the changes. Sardis surely comes in. He has to come in.
Talk about him every week.
If he doesn't come in this week, his card really is marked, if we had any doubt.
I think his card marks anyway, personally, but I think this is the week to just show potential clubs that he's good and to give us a good draft pick for him.
Yeah. I mean, a poor replacement, but a like-for-like replacement with Caldwell.
I'm so sad about Caldwell. Yeah. Look, I think if we're keeping it simple, and we probably should at this point, I think that's a like-for-like swap. Redmond is also going to be coming back. I think you can, I would say put your house on that. He's definitely could have played last week, to be quite honest with you. He looked fine at training to me and looked frustrated to be held back, given that he got the all clear. But I think he'll definitely come back in. So the question, who are you dropping for Redmond? I am not dropping Johnson or Lual or, Clark or any of those young players. Now, keep in mind,
Blackstone either. I'm not dropping. No, he was fantastic last week in contesting his direct opponent.
You'll be interested to hear this. Do you know he is the highest intercept player at Essendon this year?
On average, presumably.
Average, of course,
yeah. It doesn't surprise me. What really impresses me, and where I was sitting during the game is fairly close to ground level, and I was watching him pretty closely, and Blackstone's ability to be ahead of his man, so he might be 1 or 2 meters ahead of his man playing in front, and then duck back and provide a contest. I don't know if you can see my fist in the screen, but he'll sort of duck back and contest even though he's out of position is really, really impressive. It's something that you used to see Fletcher and Hooker do, where they could afford to play off their man a little bit, afford to play in front because their recovery in a marking contest was so good, and he's got a bit of that. So
and he's a ruckman, not a defender.
I think he's been playing out of position his whole career.
Oh, maybe.
He's missed his calling. He is a key defender. So I agree. Is there anyone we can push up the ground? Like Lual could play on a wing.
Well, Lual is playing on a wing.
Yeah. So
my question is, do we just either drop Blackiston or Laverty? Because Tigers don't have a tall forward line. They've been playing Noah Bolter in the forward line, and he can't play because he's got a curfew because he's a criminal. So he can't play on Saturday night. So it means that they don't have a lot of height down there.
Just on that, by the way, I know people don't like to talk about these sorts of things. The amount of Richmond fans that supported the said criminal and thought he was unfairly treated. Like, are you fucking joking?
Honestly,
that guy should never play again. He should never play again. Yeah,
that's right. Exactly. Ask his victim and the potential brain damage and the potential and the trauma that victim now has from a beating, an aggressive, anger-fueled, irrational beating that was caught on camera. They're the things you want to stamp out of society and certainly in a sportsman that is, an idol to young kids. So for anybody who's going to come at me and disagree with that label, I'm sorry, but that's the evidence is in front of you. Even if he wasn't given these punishments by a court of law, he'd still be that because that was criminal behaviour.
Yeah.
So anyway, my point is, we could afford to go a bit smaller. Redmond can play tall.
Honestly, I think it only solves a problem for this week.
Yeah,
but
true.
And
you have to bring Laverty back in or like straight away.
Yeah, but I would actually rest Laverty and call it rested. He actually deserves a rest. And I think he's really battled gamely, like he really has. For a guy who's undersized.
Sorry to interrupt, but I think he has. But I think he had a really poor showing on when was the game? Saturday.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, he's battled gamely, but this was the first time, to me, he really dropped his bundle.
Yeah,
so,
his mental bundle.
Yeah, I think he actually deserves a rest. It's not just an optics thing. Like giving him a rest might help him reboot, because we'll presumably need him for some times when we're coming up against bigger forwards. So yeah,
no bigger than Jake Stringer, Logan Hogan, Cadman the week after. So there's some big boys waiting for him, and we now know that Zach Reid is not coming back. So Laverty is the guy. I'm assuming Ben Mackay is not coming back from what I saw at training. Maybe round 22 he might get a game, if that. But essentially just put him on ice. So Laverty is the guy for the rest of the year. So it's not a bad call from you. Just call it rested. Managed is probably a better word. And just go, let's play Redmond taller this week. Ridley can play taller if need be. Redmond's probably not the guy you want matched up one-on-one with a player. You want him intercepting and being that freer, taking the game on. That's where he plays his best football. But from now, everybody is in positions where they don't necessarily want to be. So he's just going to have to do the job.
Yep. All right, let's move to the Sitting Joe and Smoking Joe. You've got the Smoking Joe. I said it was going to be Zach Merritt, and
right.
I guess eventually it was going to become right. A broken watch is right twice a day.
My Sitting Joe was right too. Xavier Dersma had a very indifferent game for me.
He had a shocker. Yeah, so we're on the money.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna say the Smoking Joe is gonna be Archer May. I think 3 goals in 3 minutes, and Marvel was rocking. The feel and the elation on his face when he kicked the soccer one through, and you could just see the energy. He felt it. He's going to want more of it. It's contagious. It's addictive, and I just think he's going to be up and about.
Love the look of him. I mean, Caddy was a highly credentialed first-round pick.
Spot on.
This fellow's taken a different path, but I think both of them can be playing in the forward line for the next 5 to 7 to 8 years.
Yep, agreed. Couldn't agree more.
No, I like it. Sitting Joe, I'm going to go safe. Somebody who can do this. Tigers aren't that good, are they? So who's going to drop their colours? I think Andy McGrath might actually have a good game.
Okay.
I think Perkins could be dropped. If not, he's a Houdini. He was terrible last weekend.
Only because you can't give Houdini to Gresham because he played like 12 minutes or whatever.
Well, yeah, either could be the Houdini, but I know I'm going to say Perkins. I think Perkins is going to hit a new low.
Oof, that would be. I'm not going to say impossible because anything's possible, but that would be a very low. I mean, he's getting subbed. Now, he's getting subbed off or starting as sub. I know Brad Scott has mentioned in the press conference that it's mental for him. how can subbing him multiple weeks in a row be doing any good for his mental state? Just put him in the VFL.
Yep.
But don't word it as being dropped. Word it as go and get your strut back in the VFL. Go beat up some VFL blokes. As in not physically beat. I mean, by beat up on them by playing such good football.
Part of being a professional footballer is when you don't perform, you're at risk of or will be dropped. So just drop him. It's part of the job description. You know, they all understand the measures they need to meet these days, and those measures are quite sophisticated these days, unlike in previous seasons. Previous decades, I probably should say, where it used to be all about possessions or goals or whatever. Now they look at everything from how far you run, all these defensive metrics. I cannot believe that he is anything other than behind and negative on all the metrics, defensively and offensively. So just drop him. Why is he any more immune to being dropped than anyone else? Do not understand.
I get every player you have to manage different. And again, you all know about the psychological aspect that I love. I get that each player psychologically has to be handled differently because each player has a different way of dealing with triggers and feedback and all that kind of thing. So I love that they're very conscious about that. But I think once you've tried everything and you've tried almost everything to get this guy playing confident footy, I think now consecutive weeks where he's started sub or been subbed, I think that is not help officially. I think that's not psychologically helping him mentally.
Yeah,
and I don't think him hitting 100 games this year, knowing that, would we say majority of those games have been just average? I don't think that's going to help his mental state either. No. I think he's going to be wanting more for himself at 100 games.
Yeah, agree. All right. Did I pick I didn't pick a sitting. Oh, no, it's Perkins. Perkins new low. And he's also the Houdini, so we can go straight to our predictions.
Okay, double board.
What do you think?
I mean, it's so hard to measure this game because we'll probably win, but I won't feel that great because we should win and because Tigers are so depleted. They've just lost Sam Laylor, who's their young little budding star. He's going to be a gun, but he's out for the season now. Tom Lynch is out for 5 games suspended. Noah Bolter's got the curfew. They are so bone bare. They still have some representation in the back line with Vlauston and Broad, and obviously their captain in Nankervis. And their style does emphasise, speed and quick transition and pressure. But, of course, with a team of young players, that's going to be really inconsistent. And so, the last few weeks particularly, you've seen how much they've plummeted and, their losing margins have increased. So I think we could potentially have a big win against them this year. This week. I think if we double down on our pressure, and I think, against Gold Coast, we really saw less of that backwards and sideways movement, didn't we? We saw players taking the game on from half back. And I think the metres gained ultimately reflected that the players...
And that was Hardwick's comment, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Well, let's call it a backhanded compliment. But what a difference that having players like Johnson in the team does. His first instinct is to take the game on, is not to look sideways. You watch him behind the ball and when he's just about to get the ball and he's already looking forward or on an angle to see what 45 kick he can pick off. He's not looking to take the first easy option sideways or backwards. And that's making such a difference. And, if we can get Redmond and Ridley back to playing that style of game that they're both so good at, taking the game on from half back, not playing the safe option and just looking for the easy, safe kick, And don't get me wrong, that's got a lot to do with the structure up forward. If there's nothing happening up forward, of course you've got to slow down and go backwards or sideways to give time for the structure to happen and to take place up forward. So that's got a lot to do with maybe the forward line starting to gel and, starting to get back into position quicker. But I just think we saw a really good step in the right direction against Gold Coast in terms of the game plan. So I'm hoping that we see another evolution of that this weekend, and I think we can. I think this is a team who plays a lot like Gold Coast in terms of their pressure and speed and taking the game on. They don't have the weapons that Gold Coast does in the midfield and across the ground, but they're certainly the style is quite similar. So obviously, again, not as contested, but I think we could, if we just follow on and don't do anything different, they're going to try and pressure us. But if we still take that really, the dangerous kick, and obviously we need better skills to nail some of those dangerous kicks, that would help put less pressure on us. And it just allows you not to be caught off guard by your opponent. Do you know what I mean? If you're nailing those kicks, and of course, as I mentioned in the post-replay review, if we have our midfielders lowering the eyes, so wonderful leads that 2 metre Peter are making, and Caddy is making, and May is making wonderful leads. It's not easy to shake off McAndrew when he's wearing you like a glove. But if we have our midfielders lowering their eyes, that's going to help as well. So, look, I think ultimately we can have a big win. I'm going to say, I know we don't do big wins, but I'd love to see a really complete game from us. I'm going to say 37 points.
Well, that's a great synopsis. I'll summarise it this way: Richmond is shitter than us. We'll win by 37.
You copy my number?
Yeah. I just got there from a much quicker path.
Right.
Richmond are shit. We got heaps of injuries, but we showed enough last week to say we'll account for them.
They're the shitter of the two shits, basically. That's how you summed up what I said.
That's right. We're just a little dried, petrified log. You ever seen dog shit when it turns white because it's been there for 2 weeks? That's us. They're just like a big pile of steaming horse shit. So,
okay, this is bringing this.
There's a nice little analogy for you.
This show down to an all-time low level, talking about the differences in shit. But okay, hopefully it would be nice to, I think we due a win. I want to see May and Blackstone in the middle for a Gatorade shower. And I think, has Zach Johnson won a game? Yeah, he might have. But yeah, they haven't had a win yet, those two, and I think they both deserve it, definitely. So it would be nice to get a little dopamine hit, and that's probably it for the season. So for the supporters as well, because whilst we know the direction of the club and we know we're on team draft pick and draft pick watch, winning is better.
Yeah, agree. All right, now couch question. I'll need to look it up. Do you want to tell people how they can submit a couch question while I get them up?
Well, I think for any new viewers, they will need that. But, of course, it would be wonderful to come into a FIONA'S forecast and solution. You be ready for the segment that you know is coming and already have a question ready to go. But, of course, beggars can't be choosers. So, submitting a couch question, if you just go to my Twitter page, X page, Fiona Rose T, you'll see the link pinned to the top of the page. Just pop over there and ask any kind of question you would like an opinion on or some help with, any conundrum going on in your life at the moment. Nothing is too big or too small for the couch segment.
Okay. Today's couch question is actually 5 questions in one, but they're pretty simple, so you'll see what I mean. Question 1, scrunch or fold?
Fold.
Yeah.
Is this a fight? Are you going to fire these out to me and I'm just going to say them or what?
Yeah, there's 5.
Okay.
Pencil or pen?
Pen.
Yeah, I'd say pen, but no one uses either these days. Oh, you're a notebook girl,
I'm
aren't
a
you?
notebook. Yeah, I'm a notebook. I'm a pen and paper gal.
Have you also got like an abacus to count up your maths, and do you use a slide
Yeah, I
rule?
have a calculator. I don't use the
Okay,
phone.
okay. Uh, Commodore or Falcon?
I'm the least worst last person literally on earth to ask that question. I could not point out to you a Commodore on the road. And what's the other one? A Ford. I could not point out a Ford or whatever it is. Could not. I wouldn't have the slightest clue what it is. I'm assuming they're cars anyway.
Well,
Yeah.
Holden is the Holden Commodore, which doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, I don't mind cars. To me, it's one of the world's stupidest arguments. Holden versus Ford. Coles or Woolies?
By result of pure convenience, Coles for me because it's maybe 500 meters up the road. So convenience, but I'll take either. I go where the specials are, really.
Yeah, I try and avoid both if I can. I like
So
Aldi, and the market is very close to me.
yeah, I never do fruit and veg at either. I always I've got a fruit and veg shop that I go to, but in terms of Coles and Woolies, yeah, wherever they got the best specials for what I want to make that week.
And the last one, beach or bush? Now, I don't know if what they're referring to here, but
Oh, my mind is going places.
yeah,
I hope.
let's assume they're talking about the literal. Do you like to go out to the bush or spend time on the beach?
Okay, well, if
Well,
by
you
bush
take
they
it
mean
you want.
if by bush they mean camping, that's a hell big no for me. That's got a big fat cross next to it. So beach every day of the week. Don't think I'm a prima donna princess when I say I don't do camping. I will hike with you for 6 hours in one day. I will be out going for beautiful hikes and walks all day long. I will watch the stars and lie under the stars for 2 hours. But at the end of that day, I want to come home to a very warm and clean and beautiful shower where I can be in the shower barefoot, and I want to clean myself and my
What do you mean
face with
barefoot?
as
You,
in
you,
when
who wears
you're in
shoes in the shower?
well, when you're in communal showers, when you're at a campsite, don't you have to wear? You don't want to get diseases and shit like that. You've got to wear thongs, no?
A bit of tinea never hurt anyone.
I want to shower and wash my body with all my beautiful products, and then I want to sleep in my beautiful bed with my silk pillowcase. But up until that point, I'm happy to be out there. I just don't want to. I don't want to crap in the bush, and I don't want to sleep in the bush. That's it. So I'm not a princess. I just will not camp.
I must admit, we rarely agree in this segment. I entirely agree with you. I love hiking. I'm a big hiking guy, but I'm not I used to camp when I was in my early 20s, and I had a mate say, "Oh, let's like do a reprise of what we used to do decades ago, and all go out and camp at the same spot." And yeah, back when we used to camp back then, we would have a slab each a night to get to sleep.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that you had like a piece of log sticking into your back and all that sort of thing. You'd wake up and the only thing that was hurting was your head. So
That's right. So like, I need
I
my
can't do it
melatonin.
now.
I need my like neurocalm. I need my whale sounds. I need my salt lamp. Like when you get to this age, you can't be relying on your body's not gonna like. And people will say to me, "What about a caravan?" No, sorry, no.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Glamping is almost a bridge too far for me. I will glamp, but that's all. Like maybe one night max, 2 nights.
Yeah, we have plenty of nice places to hike within driving distance. So
To come back, exactly, to come back and ultimately be in your own bed by the end of the night, no probs. I'll be out all night. As I said, I'll lie down in the back of your truck and whatever and watch the stars and be out there in the nature, no problem. However long you want to keep me in nature, I'm there. I don't care about getting dirty. I don't care about makeup sweating. I will sweat all day. But at that end of that day, I need to come home, put my mask on, my eye cream, my everything needs to be just right by the time I get in bed.
Yes. And if we're talking about the other thing, I'm probably a beach guy. But anyway, on that note, shall we end it there?
Yes, it has not been a great morning for recording this forecast. The internet has not, the software actually has not held up its end of the bargain today,
No.
but that's all right. It is. You're going to be having this on your on the channel one way or another, and thank you so much, Solution, for your contributions. Really appreciate it, as always.
No worries, Fiona. Thank you, and go Bombers.
See ya. That is done. I don't know what this is going to end up being after I edit it. It's probably not going to be a wonderful watch for you guys, but it's just a bit of lighthearted entertainment for your Tuesday night. So hopefully you just enjoy it as you're winding down for the night. As usual, thank you for all your support. This channel is going beautifully. I've already met so many wonderful people throughout it and made really incredible connections from it. So it's already ticked off one of my, I guess, the main motivation that I started it for. So thank you for that. Team selection night on Thursday night will be live as usual, 7:30. It will be a very short one this week, 1 hour max, because I will be joining Chris from Big Footy, the Tiger Cast, on his show to preview our game against the Tigers. So if you all want to join me over on the Tiger Cast to watch that will be fun. And then, of course, the fan cam Saturday night. So hoping to get another little fun video out to you tomorrow, but if I don't, then it'll just be a nice little bonus for you later in the week. Hope you're all well. Big love, and I'll catch you soon.